Alrighty, we are back. It has been some time, but we are back in the fish room here at Kirk's Aquariums. We'll start off with the first tank, and I do apologise for not making a video for quite some time. I'm going to make another video after this one, sort of explaining what's been going on and where I've been for the last 4 months. But for now, I'm just going to give you guys a quick update, showing you guys the fish room is still doing well. So we've got some Longfin panda Corys. If you've watched my older videos, we've had these guys for a little while now. They are growing nicely. We've also still got a small little batch of baby Goiter River Rainbows. So this is my last batch that I did, and they're growing up nicely as well. Moving over to this tank, and I do apologize, the tanks aren't the cleanest right now, but I thought I need to get a video out for you guys. I need to show you what's going on. So these are my turquoise rainbows, and in here we still have some L333 plecos. So turquoise rainbows in here, got the spawning mop in. Been pulling a few eggs, but haven't really been focusing on breeding lately. So we've just been keeping the fish, just keeping them conditioned, but not really focusing on breeding. And I'll explain why later on. Moving over to this tank, we've got some red tuxedo guppies. They have been pumping out the babies. As you can see, plenty of babies in this tank. A little bit messy, but we're going to clean up the tanks eventually and get them all back to how they were looking. Just needs a little bit of love and care in the fish room again. So, red tuxedo guppies, heaps of babies in there. These guys are looking good. Move over to the next tank. We've got our black ruby barbs. Really like them. Haven't really got to breed them just yet, but we'll get there eventually and get them breeding. For now, they're still actually kind of in quarantine. So I think they've been in quarantine for long enough. I think they're pretty good. We'll move on to the next tank. Over here, we've got a bit of a mixture of fish. We've got some baby angelfish that aren't so baby anymore. I really like this one here. I think this one's more of a koi angel than the other ones. Looking really nice, reminding me of Elmo. So I'm gonna grow him up. Hopefully he's gonna turn into Elmo Jr. And we've just got some more in here as well. But down the bottom, we've got some baby super red bristlenose. Taking a while to grow up, but slowly getting there in size. And we've got some baby Longfin albino Corydoras. These guys are growing up nicely as well. Moving over to the next tank. Over here, we've got some baby bristlenose. These are just normal bristlenose and some albino bristlenose. Up the top, we've got some trial guppies. I gave up on these ones. In the last few videos, you would have seen that I tried to make something and make a new fish sort of thing out of these guppies. Didn't work, sort of gave up on it. So down here, we've got hiding in the background. I'll see if I can get in and zoom in there. Hiding in the back up there. They're a bit camera shy. We've got our Adolphi Corys, or I can't remember the other name of the other species that look very familiar to the Adolphi, but I think these ones are Adolphi. Can't remember. Pretty sure they're Adolphi Corydoras. But we've got also, yeah, baby bristlenose. Moving over into this tank. Very small still. We've got a fresh batch, very small batch. I was just sort of mucking around in the fish room a couple of weeks ago, well, about a month ago now, and got about 4 or 5 baby Bosmani rainbows. And down here, we've got a fair few of baby Longfin albino Corys. So I've been sort of continuing to pump out the Longfin albino Corys just because I really like them. I think people in the fish shops really like them as well. We just grow them out, get them to a nice chunky size. We've got a couple of baby sturbays in there as well. I thought I'd just throw them in there. And yeah, mainly just Longfin albino Corys growing up nicely, and a couple more baby super red bristlenose. So the numbers are down. I'm not really focusing on breeding at the moment. If stuff breeds and I manage to save the eggs, well, I sort of save it, but we're not getting huge numbers because, yeah, I just haven't been in the fish room as much as I was. Moving over to this tank, we've got one angelfish. This one was from the last batch, but I kept him because he looked like he could be more of a koi than marbled, so I kept this one just as a bit of a trial to see how it grows up. And we've got a bit bigger batch, a bit older batch of more Bosmani rainbows. So just getting some numbers up in Bosmanis, not really pumping them out. Just, you know, we've got, I think, like 6 in here as well. So I think I've got like 10 baby Bosmanis in total, and a couple leftovers of my last batch of Longfin albino bristlenose hiding under the rocks as well. So we'll move over to this tank. We've got our colony of Longfin albino Corydoras. This is the broodstock, I should say. I've got a couple of F1s in here as well, which are the smaller ones growing up with the big chunky adults, and then just a couple of normal bristlenose in here as well. So these guys have been growing out nicely. Haven't had too much eggs coming out of them lately, but haven't really been conditioning them to breed either. So now that I'm sort of getting myself back into the fish room slowly but surely, I'm going to try and condition these guys to breed yet again, because I really think these guys are one of my favorite fish in the fish room at the moment. So we'll move along to the back wall. We've got our first tank that's got a nice pair of our marbled / koi angels. And then we've also got just a couple of adult Goiter River rainbows and our colony of Longfin albino bristlenose. So very much into the long fins of fish. I really like the longfin bristlenose. Really cool fish to have in your fish tank. Can go in most people's fish tanks. They do get quite large. Just got to make sure nothing is going to pick on all these long fins. I think these guys might actually be spawning as we speak, because there is a male in there and there is, by the looks of it, a female trapped in there. So we might actually be right on these guys spawning, which will be cool. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on in this tank. Next door, we have a small batch of baby angels. These ones are growing up quite nicely. And down the bottom, so we've only just got these guys in this tank, and then we move down the very bottom, and hiding away in the logs, we have some L397s plecos. And these guys, I've been really trying to condition these guys to breed. I think it's just patience and time, but I think these guys will breed for me. But at the moment, it's just raising up all these little angelfish, which are obviously really fun to grow out, and we'll get them a little bit bigger and then sell them off to my local fish shop. So over in the tank next door, we've got a pair of black angels. These guys have not really been spawning for me, but then again, I haven't really been conditioning them or trying to get them to spawn. Always try and keep a pair of black angels in my fish room, because black angels really are popular in my local area. But what has happened in this tank is I've got a small colony of peppermint bristlenose that I've had for about 2.5 to 4 years. Now, last week or the week before, I was actually lucky enough to pull my first batch of eggs from these guys. And this week, I've looked in here, there's a female in this log that is sitting on eggs. I'll try and get a photo or a video of that. I don't want to turn the flash on right now when I'm filming, but I'll try and get a B-roll shot of the female in here guarding some eggs in this cave. But that's pretty much what's going on in this tank. Nothing super exciting, just a nice breeding pair of black angels and a small little colony of peppermint bristlenose. All right, moving down to the tanks down the bottom, we've still got a decent amount of baby Goiter River rainbows. This is another batch I've slowly been growing up. They're taking a little while to grow, as most rainbow fish babies do. But I'm holding off from selling these guys. I'm just going to try and grow them out to be that little bit bigger, just so they have a little bit more color coming through on them. For people that don't know rainbows, their color comes through a lot later in life. So most of the times when you see them in fish shops, they're usually quite dull and sort of silverish like this. Give them about 6 months to a year, give them some good food and some good conditions. These guys will be a vibrant red with that nice black line going through the middle of them. So really nice fish. Just takes a little while to get them to their full color. But that is what's going on in this tank. Just some Goiter River rainbows and a few hiding under the log, more longfin albino bristlenose babies. I think there's a couple down here you can see off the camera. But yeah, all growing out nicely, all growing out healthy. Alrighty, I made this the last tank. This is my other grow out tank that is now growing out my gold dust geophagus. They're getting nice and big and chunky. As you can see, this one down the bottom here is getting a decent size. I really need to move these guys out and get them put into my 6-foot tank, but the 6-foot tank needs some work and needs to be all fixed up before that can happen. So for now, they're just growing out down here with some adult Sturbe Corydoras and my adult broodstock super red bristlenose. So plenty of action going on in this tank. Plenty of fish as well. So I won't keep it too much longer, guys. I'm pretty much going to wrap it up here, but I do apologize once again for how long it's been since I posted my last video. I'm really going to try and get on top of that. The next video I make is going to be a bit of a what's been happening, what's been going on sort of video. So if you're keen, stay tuned for that. Other than that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you did. And like always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.